Welcome to episode 113 of McRae Live. The date today is Thursday, October the 15th, 2020, 11:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Oh my goodness. I am coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And today there's three things on the agenda that I want to talk about today. Three things I want to talk about. Vincent DeSantis released Never Hike in the Snow. Did you watch it? Have you seen it? What did you think? Comment below and let me know. Comment below and let me know. And of course, also, The Others is getting remade. And I Know What You Did Last Summer is becoming a TV series. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I have been a little MIA this week because there's so much that is going on. So much that is going on in regards to It's Me, Billy, and we're finalizing our crew. We're calling catering companies. We're, dealing with props and, everything. I mean, it doesn't stop. It's a big deal. And part of the reason for that is because we are, unless something major were to happen here, we are still scheduled to go to camera in 5 weeks from now. That's how close it's getting. And so we're in the middle of trying to assemble everything together and myself and Bruce are also wearing a few different hats, on this project. So we are writers, yes. We are co-producers, yes. We are co-directors, yes. But we are also, Bruce, for all intents and purposes, is the production manager at the moment. He's handling a lot of those jobs. I'm handling a lot of different jobs as well. And we will have a crew. We're not doing everything, but in terms of pre-production, we are handling a lot of that stuff and trying to get everything in order. And it's a lot of work. It just is a lot of work. And something I showed last night on my Patreon only live AMA, which I want to show you guys here today. This is what, for those of you that ordered It's Me Billy posters, 24 by 36 official one sheets, this is what it's going to look like. This is, what happens is when you go to print off, because there's probably about 30 or 40 posters that we're going to have to get printed off at the end of the day. 20 of those will have to be signed. And how that's going to work is we're bringing 20 posters up to the location with us. And on the day that we arrive, we're going to take some time and the cast and crew is going to sign the posters. Now, they won't be personalized, so it's not going to be like, to Bob, to John. We just don't have time to do that. But nonetheless, they will be signed. And I know at least 20 of you are getting signed official It's Me Billy posters. Well, what we do is we get one printed off to make sure that it's okay and that it looks good. And then that if it looks good, we then order, 20 posters. So this, I've had this for a couple of weeks. We have since had the posters come in that will be signed, but this was the prototype here that I ordered, and it looks great. It looks great. So for those of you that have ordered It's Me Billy posters, this is sort of a sneak peek of what it's going to look like. And I signed this poster. I just put like to Mike Dave McRae as a test because I wanted to see if the Sharpies we were going to use, how quickly the ink dried. Because sometimes, depending on what you're using and depending on the material of the poster, you can sign something, but the ink may not dry right away and you don't want to roll anything up and have it smudge and whatnot. Well, it dried immediately. So that's a good sign. So if you do see this, my signature here, it's not self-indulgent. I was doing a test. But this is what it's going to look like, folks. Give you a little sneak peek there. So this is official one sheet of It's Me Billy. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Gonna look really nice. Gonna look really nice for all of you out there that have ordered one. And the official billing block, I'll just give you a little sneak peek. the official billing block, ooh, with all the names down there, will be on there as well. So we're excited about it. We think it looks great. So we're excited about it. So yeah, we're very pleased with how it turned out, because, you know, you never know, right? Depending on the company you're using, everybody's printing press is different and all that kind of stuff. And some t-shirts look better than others on, you know, with other companies and all that kind of jazz. So we weren't sure how this was going to look, but we're very pleased with how it looks. So for those of you that ordered posters, you're in for a real treat. So yeah. Anyway, let's get down to business for the topics of today. Never hike in the snow. Congratulations to Vincent DeSanti and Womp Stomp Films and the cast and the crew for a fantastic job. Now, not to my surprise at all, there are many people that found it to be too short and were confused and were angry. Most people, I think, get it, totally know what this is all about. But again, I think because not everybody is attached to the world of fandom to the same degree, and not everybody is, you know, neck and, as the saying goes, balls deep into Friday the 13th and what Vince is doing as some others are, it doesn't surprise me with some of the things that people have been saying. Like, that's it? What kind of film is this? What kind of movie is this? This is really lame. It just kind of ended. It didn't even have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It was weird. It felt too short, all that kind of stuff. And from a certain point of view, they would be correct. It would be like, what the hell is this? What kind of movie is this? It just kind of ends. It feels like it's just a section of a movie and like, what the, because that's what it is. Folks, for those of you that don't know what Vince is doing, and not everybody does, okay, because Never Hike Alone had a very, Never Hike Alone had a beginning, middle, and an end, right? It was about what, 50, 55 minutes long, something in there. And it clearly was, you know, had a very strong beginning, middle, and an end, you know, had an arc. It felt complete, right? It felt complete. But one of the reasons why that is because you have no idea, even when, you know, you're releasing something online, you have no idea how it's going to take. You have no idea how many views it's going to get. You have no idea if it's going to go viral or not. You don't know if people are going to like it or not. You really have no idea. And Vince had no idea. So, and I don't want to speak for Vince, but I would gather one of the reasons why it was designed and executed in the ways that it was is that it could be a standalone film. Very much like the original Star Wars from 1977, right? You could just end that movie where it is and Darth Vader's flown off into the ether and to never be seen again. I mean, you could literally just end it there. Nobody knew it was going to become the highest grossing movie in motion picture history at that time and change the face of film and how movies were made. I mean, nobody knew that. Nobody could predict that. So it was designed in a way that, hey, you know what? We have more to tell. There's a lot more we want to say, but let's do it this way just in case it doesn't really glom on the ways that we hope it does. And therefore, it can have a beginning, a middle, and an end and stand alone in the ways that it needs to. So that's why Never Hike Alone feels the way it does and is executed in the ways that it does. At least that's my educated guess. Vince can, of course, correct me privately if I'm completely out to lunch, but I would imagine that that's part of the reason why it was executed that way. But Vince has always had a lot more to the story he wants to tell. And instead of, and this comes from him, and he's absolutely correct, instead of, you know, releasing 5 or 6 more 50-minute movies, which would cost a lot more. People don't understand how much these things cost, folks. It costs a lot of money to make a movie of this caliber. 100%. It doesn't matter if it's a fan film or a short film. Fan film has got to be, and it won't be yet, obviously, but that's just the genre. The way they're going about it, the way that we're going about It's Me, Billy. And again, it's not lost on myself, and I'm sure it's not lost on Vince, that when you work in the industry, you have a certain advantage for connections and people and things like that. But fan film is just the subgenre. It doesn't matter if we were making It's Me, Billy, or some movie called, you know, Orange Juice, Ketchup, Chips, that was some, you know, original horror film. We'd be going about it the same way. We'd be hiring the same people, getting the same crew, you know, the same, you know, equipment, going through the same process. So I think people have to remember that fan films, especially when it comes to something like this, it's just the category. They're making a real movie. I mean, that's why it looks the way it does, and they're going through all the things that they do. But Vince has had a lot more to the story he wants to tell, but to make it cost effective and cheaper for him and for you, he needs to divide it up into sections. He needs to divide it up into parts. So Never Hike in the Snow is a prequel to Never Hike Alone, okay? And it sort of sets up what you see in Never Hike Alone. And then the movie that's coming out afterwards, which is his next project called Never Hike Alone 2, I think there's a subtitle in there as well, but it's definitely, I think, going to be called Never Hike Alone 2, is the official sequel to Never Hike in the Snow, which will also only be about 25 minutes long, okay? And then he's got, I think, 2 other films after that, Never Hike Alone 3, I think it's Jason Takes Crystal Lake, and then Never Hike Alone 4, The Final Hike, or something like that. Again, 2 other 25 to 30 minute installments, so that when you watch it in its entirety, it then becomes like it'll be probably 3.5 hours then, right? But then it becomes like a fully fleshed out, film. Do you know what I mean? That is this epic sort of thing that he's put together, but he's doing it like a television series. Because it's cheap. It's not cheap to make television, okay? Let me just say that. But it's cheaper. He's doing it the cheapest way he knows how. He's spreading it out over time, because if he didn't, he'd have to ask for $500,000 right up front. And that might poke the bear in certain areas that, might get him into some little kind of, you know what I mean? And he doesn't want to do that. So he's doing it in installments to make it easier, more cost effective, and more manageable as well. And so that's why Never Hike in the Snow feels like it's not a whole movie in and of itself. It is a part of a bigger movie. It is part of a bigger thing. That's why it kind of feels like, yes, it is. It is. And when you get Never Hike Alone 2 and 3 and 4, then you'll be able to kind of see. I think the frustrating part is for people is, and not everybody is not aware of that. There are people that are aware of that, but I do see enough comments under his movie and on social media. I don't get it because, and to no fault of their own, they're probably not, reading about it every single day and are fucking neck deep into this shit like you and I are every single day, right? So to them, it's because Never Hike Alone was a standalone film. They think this should be just kind of its own thing. It's a television series. That's what, for all intents and purposes, that's what he's done. So he's created the next episode, which is a prequel to Never Hike in the Snow, right? And then it ends on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh, fuck, oh! The frustrating thing is that I think because they weren't all created together, because it would cost way too much to do, we now have to wait maybe another year and a half, potentially, for the next installment, which when you're binge watching something like Stranger Things, which is notorious, well, not notorious, that means it's bad, but is famous, let's say, for ending on, and a lot of shows are of this, nature, for ending on cliffhangers. I mean, how many times when you were watching that first season of Stranger Things, when it first came out, it was like, oh, fuck, I gotta watch the next episode. But the difference is you could watch the next episode. And that's because they made them all together. Well, Vince can't do that for a variety of reasons. So as much as he would like, of course. So that's why you're getting the installment. So you have to wait for the next one. But that's what it is, folks. It isn't supposed to be its own. I mean, it is its own thing, but it is connected to a larger universe that you will get answers for. You will see Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis go up against Jason. You will see it. You will find out what happened to him, and the sheriff or the chief, and all these, and all, you bang and all. I mean, you will find out more about that. You're going to, but he's got to do these things the way he's got to do it for mostly for cost and manageability, I would assume. So I thought it was great. And did it suddenly end? Was I surprised that it ended where it did? Yes, I was surprised it ended there. And there was that moment where I was like, oh, that's it? Oh, and I was like, okay, all right, well done. Okay, I'm excited for the next one. And to be fair, I probably had that reaction because, again, I was aware that these are little episodes, right? So I knew that it wasn't going to Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I thought it was great. Congratulations to all you guys. Again, the production value is fantastic. The acting was terrific. The editing was great. The sound design was great. And it just makes me more and more excited for the next installment, which is Never Hike Alone 2, which is the official sequel to Never Hike Alone. So if you want to find out what happened after that ambulance drove off into the distance with Tommy Jarvis on the fucking thing, well, you're going to find that out now. You know what I mean? So really, really excited about that. But I see people, the vast majority of the comments have been terrific. The vast majority of the comments have been great. But you get people in there who are, have the IQ of a turd. And also, and also turds apparently have IQs. And you got a lot of people who are just ungrateful pieces of shit, really, at the end of the day. That's it? That's what I donated for? That's it? It's like, fuck off. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, go home. Go home. You know what I mean? You have no idea how much work it takes to do something like that. And you're watching it for fucking free. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's all I have to say on that. That's all I have to say on that, I should say. So congratulations to Womp Stomp Films and Vincent DeSanti and the cast and crew. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. Really excited for the next installment. Let's go on now to the topic. Well, that was the first topic. What's the next topic? I think it's the others. Do I have the others up here? Let me see here. Let's go over here. Yes, here we are. The others. This comes from, what is this? This is Deadline. Oh God, here we go. The Others remake in the works as Universal Pictures and Sentient, could be said both ways, Entertainment partner on new movie. Why? Well, we know why, but this is one of those things. Here's what I think about remakes. And you guys already know this, but I want to just kind of talk about this for a second. It is absolutely and utterly unnecessary to remake a movie that is perfect for all intents and purposes. Let me just say this. I'm not against remakes, and I'm not against remakes of beloved movies. But my idea of a remake is, if you're going to remake it, there's got to be two reasons why. Now, listen, this is the world. This is because this is the artist in me talking, right? We have to remember that a lot of these studios, they don't think it's money. I mean, this is, well, you know what I mean? But, in my opinion, there's two reasons why you should remake a movie, or a movie that is beloved, or a classic, whatever. And the others, although it's only 20 or 19 years old, it was 2001, it's arguably considered a classic of the genre. And that will only grow as time goes on. If you want to remake a movie, you either are remaking it because the subject matter and the themes of that movie were either ahead of its time when it was first made, and didn't really catch on. And then there's something now going on in society where we are today, where that actually is more relevant today than it was 30-something years ago, right? So then you explore the opportunity of remaking that movie, because the idea is that it will have more eyeballs on it because it's more relevant today. You'll remake it. That will be hugely successful. And in turn, then people will discover, oh, this is actually a remake, and they'll discover the original through that process as well, right? That's that makes sense to me. I get it. Or it was relevant then, but it was no longer relevant, and then it's relevant kind of again. So you kind of want to just update it, same kind of thing. Okay, fine. Maybe in a movie where it was effects heavy. Maybe the effects are very outdated right now, and it was kind of popular, but you know what? We could do that movie again today. I think people would really like it. We can, make the effects a lot better, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I mean, I can intellectualize that. I can understand that. The Others? I don't. The Others is, in my opinion, one of the great psychological thrillers. I mean, it's a horror movie. I get it, but I mean, it's one of the, but it's a great psychological horror movie. I mean, it's not, The Shining, but I'm just saying it's up there. It's great. And I like it better than The Sixth Sense. I think it's head over heels way better than The Sixth Sense. I don't hate The Sixth Sense. I don't dislike The Sixth Sense. But if I had the choice to watch The Sixth Sense or The Others, I would watch The Others any day of the week and twice on Sunday. I adore that movie. And I love the mood and the atmosphere, and the twist I thought was fantastic. And a very interesting perspective that the others are actually them, if you look at it from a certain perspective. And you know what? I'm going to spoil the ending here, but for Christ's sakes, it's 19 years old. If you haven't seen it, you're not going to see it. The Others has the twist, of course, where, you discover that, spoiler alert, in case you want to tune out for a second, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nicole Kidman and her 2 kids, they're dead. And you don't know that until the end of the movie. So from a certain point of view, the others are maybe them, you know what I mean? Kind of thing, right? It was great. It was a great twist. It was a great film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was a lot of fun, but it doesn't need a remake. I just don't understand what you would do better that you didn't do good. There's my grammar. That you didn't do great, let's say, 19 years ago. I don't understand. Is it more relevant today than it was 19 years ago? What's the is it going to be the same twist? Probably not. They're probably going to modernize. I don't understand what you're going to do. Is this going to be a CGI? The Others is all about mood, atmosphere, slow burn, shadows in the dark, what you think you see, theater of the mind. The Others is all about that, and it's fucking great. So I cannot help but think that, well, then the remake of The Others is just going to be some CGI fucking porn fest of nonsensical bullshit. That's what I think it's going to be. And, now maybe not. Prove me wrong, but, this is what it says here. Fuck. Exclusive. Yeah, an exclusive pile of shit. The Nicole Kidman horror classic is getting a makeover. Why? Why? Does it look drab? I watched it a couple of months ago. It didn't look pretty fucking good to me. Sources tell Deadline that Universal Pictures and Sentient Entertainment have partnered on the remake of Alejandro is it Amenabar maybe? Alejandro Amenabar's The Others. I'm not Spanish, so you'll have to forgive me. And are in development on a film. You're not Spanish, really? I had no fucking idea, McRae. In a competitive situation, Universal Pictures has optioned the rights to the film from Sentient. Deadline broke the news in April that Sentient had acquired control of the rights in a highly competitive situation from Film Sharks, owned the remake company. Okay. And Video Mercury. Sentient made the deal with Film Shark CEO Guido Rudd, and European Football Club Atletico Madrid president Enrique Cerezo maybe? Cerezo's Video Mercury. Wow. Cerezo originally acquired the film rights when he... Look, okay, it's like they're trying to keep it in the fam, or something to that degree, right? And I get that to a degree, but this doesn't sorry. Okay, it's just an article talking about who has the rights, how they got it, and that Universal is going to do it. That's essentially what this is here. It's essentially what this is. Sentient's Renee Tabb and Christopher Tuffin will produce alongside Aliwen Entertainment's Lucas Akoskin. Cerezo, will executive produce alongside Rudd. And yeah, they're just talking about who's all involved. They're going to produce, he's going to produce, they're going to, okay, whatever. Kyle Chandler joins Jason Momoa. Oh, that's a completely different thing. I was like, Jason Momoa's in this fucking thing? It's a completely different article. The original 2001 film starred Kidman and became a surprise summer hit by grossing more than $200 million at the worldwide box office. I saw it twice in the theater, once with my mom and once with Bruce back then. Similar to The Sixth Sense, the film is known not only for scaring audiences all summer, typo, but delivering one of the all-time great twist endings. It was great. And I remember sitting in that theater being stunned. I remember it stunned me way more than The Sixth Sense did. I don't know what it is about The Sixth Sense. I don't dislike it. I think it's fine. I think part of me was just like, how could nobody know he was fucking dead before the end of that movie? I'm like, he's not talking to anybody. Nobody's talking to him. And I just kind of suspected it. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But the Others ending surprised me a lot. It is unknown how much this film will take from the original storyline, probably nothing. Insiders say execs are meeting with writers to adapt the script. Blah, 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 blah. CAA represented the producers in the deal. CAA is Creative Artists Agency, one of the big agencies in Hollywood. 16 comments. What are the comments? What are people saying? We all know how it'll be different. The cast will be Black Hispanic. Oh my God. There you got some people angry with that kind of thing. Please don't remake The Others. What a supremely awful idea and bizarre. Nonsense. No need to remake it. Just watch the original and great movie. They all sound like this for some reason in my mind. Hey man, jump ahead 2 years and discover it's garbage compared to the original. What a business full of non-thinkers, man. This is kind of fun reading these. I'm doing this on the fly. I haven't actually read these. Just watch the movie. Why remake it? Anyway, they're all saying the same thing, except for that other guy that got very political. But nonetheless, I agree. It's not something, it's not a story, like it's not a movie that came out in 1947. It's not a movie that came out in 1948 or 56 or 63 or 72 or even in the 80s. It's not even 20 years old. And it's not a movie that is designed, that is reliant on its effects or its relevance. It's relevant no matter what. It's not a movie that is saying something about society necessarily. I mean, look, the movie takes place in the 1930s or 40s or whatever it is. So, I mean, it is a period piece for all intents and purposes. And so but it's not, that's just where it's set. And maybe they're looking to modernize it. Maybe they're looking to take it out of the 30s or the 40s, whatever. I think it was the 30s, I think. Or no, it might have been the 40s actually, because I think her husband remember he came home from the war or whatever it was. Maybe it was and I know tuberculosis played a big part in that. Was the 30s? God, I can't remember now. Was it World War I? Anyway, point is, it was back then, right? So maybe they're looking to modernize it. Maybe they want to bring it into the 21st century and actually have it take place today. That would fucking piss me off. I'm telling you right now, man, if I see a trailer for The Others from Universal and it stars like, fucking, I don't know, fucking Taylor Swift or some shit. I'm like, fuck off. Like, get out of here. You know what? And I'm not old. I'm only 41. But I don't know what it is. I'm starting to become that guy. I see so much shit that I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But don't you want? No, I don't care. I'm becoming that old man. Get off my lawn guy. I really am. Like, God, like, why are you remaking The Others? The Others is one of the great, and to be fair, it's not really because it's one of the greatest psychological horror films of all time. I mean, that of course there's that kind of like, there's always that, but that's not why I'm angry. I don't see the reason for it. I don't understand how, you know me, I try to be as objective as I possibly can here. And I will always, look at things. I try not to let my fanboy emotions get in the way of anything. And when I think of The Others, if it doesn't matter if it's 19 years old or if I could see the reason why it could get a remake and how it would be so, I would say it. I'd say it. I don't get it with this. I don't get it. I don't understand how you're going to make it more relevant or exciting unless you turn it, because The Others isn't necessarily a teeny bopper horror. It's not like it's, unless they want to like Happy Death Day-ify it or like, and I don't mean it, but like that flavor, that style, that young, hip, 20s kind of thing. Is that what they're looking to do? Or like Slender Man it or, or whatever. I'm just like, because I don't understand how, like, if you're going to make a serious, kind of like, well, you already did that. It's fine. It's not even, there's nothing in the original that I can look at and go, well, you know what? That fucking sucked. So they need to redo this whole fucking movie and do that better. I don't get it. Is it really going to, does anybody care? Does anybody want it? Comment below and let me know. Do you want it? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. I mean, is it going to make money? Is it going to make money? I don't get it. It was a brilliant film. And the director of that movie, by the way, hasn't gone on to do many more feature films, I don't think. It was one of the only kind of major ones he did. It was brilliant. It was great. There's no need to remake it. Like, listen, Jaws, one of the greatest of all time, right? You don't want to remake Jaws, but I can intellectualize it. I can go, well, I can understand that, maybe you want to, improve the effects or, I can intellectualize it, right? I don't think we live in a world yet where CGI sharks, I actually think the shark in Jaws, 98% of the time looks way better than any CGI shark I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. But, there's certain movies you can intellectualize. You can go, well, I can understand that. And that doesn't mean that you agree with it, but you can kind of see that, I don't get this. I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't get it. Don't want it. Okay, so where are we here? The next one I want to go to here is, oh God. Oh, wait. Where's my little cursor? Where's my cursor go? Okay, here. And then, where did it go? There it is. There's my cursor. I was wondering where it went. I wanted to bring this in. So this is coming this is from Deadline. I know what you did last summer. Amazon orders. Oh boy, what do you guys think of this? Amazon is ordering an I Know What You Did Last Summer series based on the movie, ladies and gentlemen, based on the movie. Let me move this over here. Sometimes it's hard to get to that. So there you go. Amazon Studios has given a series green light to YA horror series. I know YA. Maybe I'm brain farting here. Horror series, I Know What You Did Last Summer. A modern take on the hit 1997 slasher film. The project hails from Sony Pictures Television and studio-based original film. Oh boy. Written by Sarah Goodman, Preacher, based on the 1973 novel by Lois Duncan. The I Know What You Did Last Summer series has the same premise as the movie adaptation. In a town full of secrets, a group of teenagers are stalked by a mysterious killer a year after a fatal accident on their graduation night. Oh, young adult. Thank you, Darren. Young adult. Sounds so pretentious. YA is young adult. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not a young adult, so I guess it's not for me. I think they should do, of course, this is just nostalgia. I think you'd do better by announcing a direct sequel to the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. Or even, you can pretend I still know what you did last summer happened. You don't have to acknowledge it, but you can pretend it happened. And you bring back Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's not doing anything. You bring back Freddie Prinze Jr. He's just fucking surfing and tanning on the beach. It's what you got to do. I'd be way more interested in that. This didn't work well for Scream, by the way. Now, I know that Scream is different than I Know What You Did Last Summer, but this didn't work well for Scream. This didn't work. It didn't work well. I can totally see this getting a season and nobody gives a fuck. Could totally see that. Or it's gonna turn into Riverdale. I don't know. I haven't watched Riverdale, but I'm aware that it's a very popular mystery kind of thing with the Archie comic sort of angle, and I'm just aware that it's doing very well. I think they're up to like 5, 6 seasons or something like that. So is that what they're going to do? They're going to kind of spin it that way and make it kind of, hip and young and, but I mean, does anybody now remember, if you are not a young adult, a young adult would be like 18 to 30 probably, or 25 even. But if you're not the target demographic, then they don't give a fuck what you think. But I don't care about this. I really don't care about this. Now, I Know What You Did Last Summer. The first I Know What You Did Last Summer, I enjoyed. I liked it. It was my first introduction to Jennifer Love Hewitt. Of course, as an 18-year-old guy, when I saw the movie, I was like, drooling all over the theater. And I was like, oh my God, it's Jennifer Love Hewitt. Who is this goddess? But you know, and I had like photos of her up in my locker, you know, teenage shit, you know. And she still is very attractive today, but I haven't followed her since I was probably in my early 20s, since Ghost Whisperer days, I think. And she hasn't done much either, to be fair. I think she's had a couple of kids. She's married now. She's doing the mom thing, I think. But to be fair, I mean, the first I Know What You Did Last Summer was fine. It was good. It was, it was enjoyable. The second one was a pile of ass. And, the third one went straight to DVD, and nobody gets it. It's not a good series. I mean, nobody looks at the I Know What You Did Last Summer as that's a great franchise. No, it's a pile of shit franchise with one good movie that came out in 1997. So, I mean, I think you should fuck, why not? Why not? Just do it. That's what I think you should do. I think you should just do a direct sequel to the first one. Bring back Prinze Jr., bring back Jennifer Love Hewitt, bring back whoever else. And Tony Michael had a great idea too. Bring back Anne Heche and kind of weave her into the situation. Is she fucking seeking revenge? Is she maybe not? You could bring back Anne Heche. That would be much more appealing to me than in I Know What You Did Last Summer Amazon TV series. But then again, I am also not the target demographic. So they don't care what I think. They really don't care what I think. The best horror franchises always have another scare coming. Well, and this I Know What You Did Last Summer series from Sarah Goodman is a perfectly twisted update to the iconic slasher movie, said Albert Cheng, COO and CO, head of television, Amazon Studios. Any way you slice it, ooh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Albert. Our Global Prime video customers will love this modern take on the fan favorite film. Are you sure, Albert? Albert, give me a call. You can give me a call, Albert. I'll give you my number. And we'll have a conversation. And I will tell you right now that, first of all, your Amazon Studio, are you appealing to young adults, or are you appealing to everybody? Is this a direct sequel? And that's something kind of too. Is this a direct sequel to the movie universe? Ooh, kind of interesting, right? Is this a complete remake and reboot? That's the impression I'm getting from this. But you could look at it and go, or is this like years later, shit starting to happen again? You might be able to bring Jennifer Love Hewitt into the series. That would interest me a little more. Because it's connected. It's connected to the connective tissue that we all know and sort of like, at least from that first movie. Second movie's just, Anyway. So, that might interest me a little bit, because then, it's got that connective tissue. But a complete remake, and I'm just like, I don't know. Does anybody care in the chat room? Let me know. Do you? Listen, you're going to watch it. You're going to watch it because you can't fucking take it. You have no fucking, willpower. You'll fucking watch it. But I just want to know if this is something that you care about. I don't know. I don't particularly care about. I Know What You Did Last Summer, produced by Amazon Studios and Sony Pictures TV, had been in development for a couple of years. Ooh, a couple of years. I didn't know that. Original films, Neil H. Mortez. I think it's something like that, who produced the 1997 movie Columbia Pictures, has been the main driver behind the project, which went through multiple incarnations. Last year, James Wan. Yeah, well, he likes to wave that wand. James Wan and his Atomic Monster. Ooh, Atomic Monster. I like that. Boarded the series. Goodman executive producers alongside Shay Hatton, who was previously attached as a writer. Original films. Okay, and they're just going on. Who's attached? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. We are thrilled to have I Know What You Did Last Summer with incredible partners at Amazon Studios. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can read that on your own. This is, of course, Deadline. Just type in I Know What You Did Last Summer, Deadline. You'll get it. But sometimes I just think it gets a little, a little self-indulgent when everybody's piping, these people are producing, and unless it's a household name, I don't give a fuck. You know, like, I mean, I have to go and look these people up, whether that matters to me. You know, it's going to be produced by these people and that, and I know that's a standard sort of, not that this is an official press release, but I do, well, in some ways, I guess it could be, but I do understand that in this kind of article, in this press release kind of thing, you do talk about who's involved, who's producing. Obviously, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying that it's irrelevant information, but to the average movie fan, you don't give a shit unless it's a household name like Spielberg, Scorsese, Nolan. Well, then you start going, oh, you know, but you know, if I say, and John Stinkton and Rick Bongolo are going to be producing from Rick Bluggety Boogity Boggity Film Studios, means nothing to me. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So I tend to fucking skip over that shit now. I'm just like, whatever. At Amazon, Original Film and Sony Pictures TV, where the company is under an overall deal, also had the hugely popular series The Boys. Additionally, Original Film is behind the Sony TV drama series for CBS, SWAT. Well, I haven't watched SWAT, S-W-A-T. So, okay, the same people are going to be doing that. They're doing SWAT. Okay, does that mean anything for any of you guys in there? It doesn't really mean much for me. I Know What You Did Last Summer extends Goodman's relationship with Original Film and Sony TV after most recently serving as executive producer on their AMC series Preacher. Haven't watched Preacher. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't mean much to me. The 1997 movie was written by Kevin Williamson and directed by Jim... I always get that there's a couple of ways you can say this last name. I think it's Gillespie. Gillespie, I think. Gillespie. I think that's it. Gillespie, I think is how you say it. Because there's a couple of ways I've heard said it. I think that's right. Chat room will let me know if I've got that right. It starred Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe? I think it's Phillippe, right? That's how you say his last name? Ryan Phillippe, and Freddie Prinze Jr. What are they saying in the comments here? What are people saying in the comments? Anonymous. I was stuck inside last summer avoiding the deadly coronavirus. It was very boring. Not much of a show. Oh, I see what there's... I thought he was talking about himself for a minute. For a minute, I thought he was talking about himself, but... Is that it? That's it. People care more about the... Oh, no, hang on. We got one here. Garbo. And I Know What You Did Last Summer series. Isn't that basically Pretty Little Liars and its spinoff and its remake? You might be right. Christopher Pike. Wow, Chris Pike is in here. And realistically, it was more of a ripoff of young adult book called Chain Letter. All right, Chris, you know what? And Chain Letter is probably a fucking ripoff of something else as well. I love these people that go, it's not original. There are no original stories anymore, folks. There are no original stories. There's just original ways to tell the same thing. And it gives you the impression that it's original. It's not. Star Wars wasn't original. Wasn't. The hero's journey and the themes and the subject matter in Star Wars had been told for millennia in many different films, stories, books, you know. But it had never been told in space in that way with fucking dogs riding spaceships and laser swords and guns and you know. But the themes and the overall arc of Star has been told it's not original. You know, there's very specific reasons why we get attached to that, right? You know what I mean? Because it's universal in many ways. So anyway, yeah, and I'm sure Chain Letter was a ripoff of something else too. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is they are remaking for all intents and purposes. I've been saying that a lot today, but it's true. I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it's going to be a television series, ladies and gentlemen. A television series going to Amazon Prime. What do you guys think? Comment below and let me know. Let me know your thoughts on Never Hike in the Snow in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on Universal wanting to, well, they're going to do it, remaking The Others, which is just, and of course, Amazon acquiring the rights to do And I Know What You Did Last Summer series. Do you care? You think this is, are they going to teeny bopperify it? Is that what they're going to do? They're going to teeny bopperify this thing? I think that's what they're going to do, personally. But then again, when I saw the movie, I was 18. It appealed to me because of the horror element, but because of Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar and all that. Yeah, I was, a young guy. I was a kid. I was a teenager, right? I wanted to go see it because of the babes. But I mean, you know, this thing is, I mean, it's not, what are they gonna, I mean, I'm 41 for Christ's sakes. I'm old enough to be the actors that will appear in this movie, their father, probably. So that's just weird. You know, it's not for me. And I get it, but I'm just like, I would like to see a direct sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Anne Heche. That's what I would like to see. Would you like to see that? Comment below and let me know if that's something you want to see. It's a crazy time out there, folks. It's a crazy time. Let's go to the chat room and see what you guys are talking about. And a couple of super chats did come in. Let me see if I can get these super chats. Intel Wild, my man Intel, says, good morning, David. Ooh, David. Why, thank you, Intel. I'd like to congratulate the Los Angeles Lakers on becoming the NBA champions of 2019-20. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers for becoming the... It's true. They became the champs. They became the champs. Tiffany Moses Shante. Thank you, Tiffany. Says, hey, Dave, been waiting to hear your thoughts on this remake as I know you really like this film. Oh, yeah. You mean the others. I'm not happy about it because I think it's unnecessary. And like I said, you know, I always do my best to try come at, you know, these shows and my channel from an informed opinion perspective, not just a fanboy emotional opinion. I try to be as objective as I possibly can. And if the others, as much as I adore it, if I could see the value in remaking it, I would tell you. I would say, well, listen, I don't want it, but I can see why. I can see this, that, this, and this, that, and the other. And I get it. I get it. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Doesn't mean I would do it. Doesn't mean I want it, but I can intellectualize their reasoning for it and I can understand it. I have no idea what the fuck. And until they come out and say, well, this is why we're doing it, I have no idea why would you'd even touch this movie. It's unnecessary unless they're going to teeny bopperify it. So it's no longer going to be very adult feeling, you know, like a mature psychological horror film. They're going to, it's universal. Maybe they're going to pass it off to Blumhouse. Oh, God help us. I mean, listen, Blumhouse makes some good stuff, but they also make some fucking stinkers too. And they're very much attached in the world of teeny bop horror, you know? So I'm just like, is that what the others is going to be now? It's going to be about this, you know, it's going to be the same story, but they're going to modernize it. And it's going to be about like a suburban house mom in fucking, I don't know, Columbus. I mean, it's just like, you know, a little worried, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Cobra Dojo. Thank you, buddy. Says, hey, Dave, I finally ordered Fright Night on Blu-ray. Ooh, Fright Night. Fright Night is one of those movies that I haven't seen it in years, but it's one of those films that whenever I would walk into the video store as a kid, I would always, it always stood out to me in the horror section because of the face in the clouds over the house. You know what I mean? I always loved that. It was really cool. It was always mysterious to me. On Blu-ray, I'll always wonder what happened to Chris Sarandon. He had everything going on for him, wasted talent. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Is that Chris Sarandon? Wait a minute. Wait a second. Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Him. Yes, it is the guy I'm thinking of. That's right, Child's Play. I don't know. He's still alive, apparently, 78. Let's go to his IMDb here, man. He's still doing stuff. He was in, 2020, 2017, 2016, 2015. Video games, doing a lot of voiceover. He's doing a lot of voiceover, which is cool. So he's still working. He's just not, he's not an A-list actor, so he's not doing the stuff that, but he's still working. He's still there. He's still around, my friend. He's still around. Let me go. Where are you here? There we go. David Lee Barron, thank you, David, says, is Stop or My Mom Will Shoot so bad it's good? Yes. I like that movie. I do. But you see, I like Sylvester Stallone. I like Estelle Getty. And I just think it's just silly. It's just silly, but it's a guilty pleasure I could sit and watch. It's not one of my favorite movies of all time, but certainly I don't think it's like, hey, it ain't Halloween 5, man. I'll just say that. Stuart Johnson, thank you, Stuart, says, Dave, did you hear Coming to America 2 is going straight to Amazon Prime? I did hear that Coming to America 2 is going straight to Amazon Prime, and my thoughts on that are, well, myself and Darren were talking about this on last night's Patreon show. I think that's the best thing for it. I think I adore the first Coming to America. Came out in 1988. I was telling my patrons last night, those of you who tuned in, I was saying that in 1988, I was 9. And that year, myself and my mom and my brother and, we were all we all went on a road trip from Toronto to Florida. We drove down to Florida. We went to Tampa Bay and to Busch Gardens and all that. And I was such a fan of that movie that I imagined as a kid, because I'm such a movie guy, I was imagining that I was in a movie and my family were actors and we were on like this vacation Coming to America road trip movie. And, that's what I was doing. It was hilarious. I love that film. I think look, I love the characters. I think it's going to be nice for nostalgic reasons to revisit them. I have no idea if this is going to be as good as the original. I think it'll be serviceable. I think it'll be fine. I think I'll probably feel about it the way I felt about Dumb and Dumber 2. Dumb and Dumber 2 doesn't hold a candle to the original, but it was 20 years later, and it was fine. I went to the theater to see it, with my girlfriend, and we had a good time. It was funny. It was gross, funny, exactly what you'd expect. And it was serviceable. It was fine. And I think that's how I'm going to feel about Coming to America too. I'll watch it and go, yeah, that was all right. That was fun. It was nice to revisit old friends again, but is it going to be as good and as fresh and as quick as the original? I don't know, man. And I don't think that taking it to the theater, look, it was supposed to come out this December. So was Dune. So was, the Spielberg film there, West Side Story. And it would not have been number 1 at the box office. It may have done okay. Because it's counter programming to those 2 movies. But I don't see it being a colossal hit. Like, unless it's fucking, which again, statistically, these types of things, the probability is very low. So unless it's a fucking amazing movie and word of mouth just is like, oh my God, it's the greatest comedy, which we all know is highly unlikely. I think streaming is the perfect place for it. I don't think it would have done. I don't know. I just don't see, does anybody care? Does anybody know? And like, unless it's like fogies like us going to check it out. It's not like my friends' kids are going to go see it. They probably have no idea who the fuck Eddie Murphy or Arsenio Hall is. I can do this to you, and you know exactly what I'm doing. I do that to my friends' kids, and like, the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's a generational thing, right? Like, the original was 32 years ago, and it's not like, I don't know. I think streaming's a good place for it. I think it's a good place for it, because I just don't think it's got the, I think they would lose money at the box office personally, but who knows? Maybe it'll be a surprise hit. But I'm of course I'll watch it because I love the original so much, and I'll like to revisit some old friends again and check them out. I think it'll be a lot of fun. David Lee Barron says, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are confirmed to reprise their role as Spider-Man with Tom Holland in the new live-action Spider-Verse movie. We had this conversation yesterday on my Patreon stream as well. Unless something has changed in the last 14 to 15 hours, it has not been confirmed. There are people saying it's confirmed, but it's not coming from any of the reputable sources. So at this very moment, I believe it is still a rumor. As far as I know, unless somebody can point me to an official source, not Billy Bob's Movie Blog, not We Got This Covered, but Deadline, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, something, People Magazine, I don't know, something that has not necessarily People Magazine, but, one of the film industry trade magazines where this is a hot discussion, and it has absolutely been confirmed by the studios. Then okay. But just because, you read it online, you got to look who's the source, where's it coming from? Has it come officially from the studio? So I just want to say that I was aware of this last night. My recollection was that it was still, some people saying, yes, and others are like saying, no, it's still, a rumor. So, yeah. And keep that in mind. Ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. Goomba Johnny says, hey, Dave, how the heck do you know the year every movie came out? I don't know the year every movie came out, but I'm very good with dates. I have a very good long-term memory, and I'm very good with dates. So and again, I mean, it depends on the movie, right? But like I'm just trying to think of I don't know, movies. Ask me the name of some movies, and I'll do my best to tell you the year they came out. But you'll clearly see, because you'll probably pick a few that I don't know. But if you do that, I'll try and think off the top of my head. And I don't have anything up to see it. I won't ask Google or anything. We'll just see what happens. See what people say and see if I can get it. Let me see here. Rye Guy, 1988 says, wait, The Golden Child. The Golden Child's great. That's one of my favorite underrated Eddie Murphy movies, is The Golden Child. I love that movie. I adore that movie. I love that. It's great. It's great stuff. Pulp Fiction, 94. I believe it was 94. Jagger Loco says, did you hear about the new Chucky movie that's coming now? There's a new... No, I didn't. Who did you hear it from is more important, Jagger. Who did you hear it from, Jagger? No, I have not heard it. I've not heard it. Cobra Dojo, it's me, Billy. Well... again, if we can shoot the film, which by all accounts, it looks like we will be able to at the end of November, it should be next year. It should be next year. Yeah, for sure. I don't have a release date yet for it. But if we are able to shoot the movie at the end of November, you'll definitely have a teaser at Christmas, for sure. Austin Powers, the original Austin Powers was 97, I believe. Evil Alex says, I would like to see a Black Christmas direct sequel, Dave. How's it doing? I would like to see well, you are, Evil Alex. How's it doing? How's it going? You mean? It's going, man. It's going. We're deep into pre-production right now, and there's a lot of shit that we're doing. I showed this at the beginning. This is the official one sheet of the poster. For those of you that ordered posters, this is the official... Bring myself up here so I can see this. This is the official poster here. The official one-sheet poster. And I put my signature on it there because I needed to see if the ink would dry quick. This is a prototype. We had this printed because we wanted to see how it turned out, and it turned out great. So for those of you that ordered posters... that's what it will look like. And 20 posters came in yesterday. Those are the posters that will be signed by the cast and crew. So that's great. And props are starting to come in. Our prop department's working on the props. Most of the props have come in now. We are finalizing our crew. We have our first AC locked, our second AC locked, our gaffer, our grip, swing. Obviously our DP, myself and Bruce. And... yeah, there's just a ton of stuff over there. I'd love to show you, but I can't show you that. I cannot show you that. But anyway, yeah, no, it's coming, man. It's coming. Like I said to you, when the campaign ended, when a movie moves into pre-production, it's kind of quiet. You know what I mean? And it feels like there's nothing going on from your end, but there is a shitload that's going on this end. If you could be with me every single day in my day-to-day, you'd be like, oh my God, holy shit, there's shit going down. There's shit going down as soon as I get off here. There's phone calls I have to make. There's phone calls I have tomorrow that I have to make. I'm heading out today to pick up a few things, and it's always happening. Every day. Every day I'm talking with Bruce, every day. This Sunday, we have what presumably will probably be our last table read with the cast. And then this coming Monday, it's reason why there's no two dudes this Monday. Myself and Bruce and our camera crew are heading up to the location for where we'll be shooting. It's a 4.5 hour drive there, a 4.5 hour drive back. We'll be there for a couple of hours. Obviously, they need to see the place and scout the location and look at the place and, because obviously they're going to be shooting. They need to look at, all sorts of shit. So that's happening Monday. So that's an all day thing. So there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on because we are essentially 5 weeks away from shooting. That's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Jack Corter says, Dave, on a scale of 1 to 10, just how excited are you for It's Me, Billy?
I would say I'm excited. I'm 10, but I'm also nervous. And I'm not nervous. I have the same nerves I think any filmmaker and any director. I can't speak for Bruce. I don't know if he has these same nerves, because we might have he might have these same nerves, but over different things. For me, I'm not concerned about the actors or anything like that. I'm just, I have production, I just have those kind of, I hope that goes well. Okay, no, got to make sure, I just want to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that's just what you do. It's an intense sort of thing. It's stress, but it's good stress. So, I am excited, but I don't have time to revel in the excitement because there's so much to do and there's so much to make sure that gets done right. So I think I will be excited when November 29th comes and I'm driving back to Toronto and the shoot is done. Then I'll be like, because right now, every day is like, because there's so much you got to get done and, be prepared. And I am excited, but I don't really have time to revel in it, because there's a lot to get done. Gypsy Warrior sends in a super chat and says, Popcorned Planets, Andy Signor confirms TM and AG. So, okay. Well, did that happen today? Where is he getting it from? Is he getting it from an official source? I think Andy's pretty good at that, actually. I've seen his stuff. So, great. I'm happy for all you Spider-Man fans out there. I couldn't care less. I mean, it's cool. It's cool, but okay, that's cool. I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for you guys that care very deeply about that. So, for sure, man. Let me see. I want to make sure I didn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, there is one that came in here. This is coming in from Stuart Johnson. Thank you, Stuart. Says, Dave, they're currently shooting the new Batman movie in my hometown of Liverpool, England. Went down to the set the other day. It was really cool. Very cool indeed, my man. Cobra Dojo says, please do the Loomis speech as Christopher Walken. Oh, I'd have to work on that, man, because I wouldn't do it justice, right? Because, as a voice actor, I recognize that I can't do a Christopher Walken impression. I can just say little things in the Christopher Walken voice, like, hello, my shoes are tied. Come on, my shoes are tied. But to actually say the speech, I would come out of the impression quite a bit, because I haven't worked on actually doing, understanding the nuances of the voice and how it relates to certain syllables and words to be able to say a paragraph or two or three flawlessly as Christopher Walken. In the world of voiceover, it's one of the things that I tell people. There's a misconception that if you can, because there's a lot of aspiring people who want to be voiceover actors who think that, doing a character's catchphrase or talking like a character over 3 words is somehow an impression. It's not an impression. An impression would be if I could talk like Christopher Walken without breaking character. You do not hear Dave McRae. You can close your eyes and like, oh my fucking God, that's Walken, and talk like him for 15 minutes without breaking character. That's an impression. Me doing a couple of words like, hello, come on, or whatever it is, right? That's not an impression. That's just me. That's me understanding enough of his voice that I can do a few little words. Maybe I can go through the drive-through and order a cheeseburger or something in his voice. You know what I mean? But to do the Dr. Loomis speech, I wouldn't. I'd fail. I might be able to hit certain words, but then it'd be like, oh, that doesn't sound like Christopher Walken. It's like, yeah, because I haven't worked on that. So it's like Arnold, right? Like people like, hey, come on, do it now, come on. That's not an Arnold impression. That's just knowing. That's screaming like, doing that. And then just saying, come on. Does it sound like Arnold? Yeah, I mean, you can certainly tell who I'm trying to be. But there are guys online There's this one guy, I forget his name now, who has done like prank calls with Arnold, not the fake prank calls with the switchboard and his lines. I mean, actual, he sounds exactly like Arnold, and he can talk like him for like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's really, really, really cool. But yeah, no, I wouldn't do it justice, man. I wouldn't feel right. Aaron Anderson sends in a very generous super chat. Thank you so much, Aaron. And says, hate that the Batman keeps getting pushed back. Excited to see Pattinson in the role, although Kyle Chandler would have been my first choice. And it got me thinking that Paul Walker would have been a fantastic Batman. Paul Walker. Yeah, maybe. I'm okay with Pattinson being Batman. I think if there's something like, unless I'm of the mindset now, because I think people, if you haven't learned your lesson now, then I don't think you're ever going to do it. But unless they were to hire somebody clearly not fit for the role, like, oh, you know what? Danny DeVito is hired as Batman. If, John Candy, you say, was alive still. John Candy is Batman. I mean, then it's kind of like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But I mean, people said the same thing about Ben Affleck as Batman. Look what happened. People said the same thing about Heath Ledger as Joker. Look what happened. I mean, so I think there's always that sort of thing where when Pattinson was cast as Batman, I was like, yep, cool. And there wasn't anything in that trailer that surprised me. Nothing. Zilch, zero, nada. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way. I don't mean like, oh, it just always, it always, but then again, I'm also somebody that doesn't understand, the superhero genre as deeply as some other people do. But I always find it funny that when that trailer came out, there were people that were like, oh my God, he's amazing. It's like, yeah, like, what did you expect? Danny DeVito? I mean, like, I'm always so surprised that people are always surprised because they're always proven wrong, and unless it's clearly an actor that's not fit for the role. But I think there's the cycle, because most people have never seen anything that Pattinson has done outside of Twilight. They just associate him with Twilight. But even still, he's an actor. He's actually not a sparkling vampire, contrary to popular belief, but of course people have their associations, and it can be quite difficult for people to, disconnect from those associations. And I understand that, I do, but nothing that I've seen from the Batman or Pattinson as the Batman has surprised me one bit. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He's a talented dude. Love what I saw. Matt Reeves is a talented director. Looks good. Yeah, can't wait to see it. That's how I feel anyway. Real Reveal. Hey, Real says, who is Billy played by? When will he be revealed? Billy has been cast. There are two. Look, so this is no secret. I will be playing Billy on the phone the vast majority of the time. I was Billy on the phone in the Indiegogo teaser. That's not going to change. I was also Billy at the beginning of the teaser, singing the, little baby bun and daddy's gonna hunt. And, that was me at the beginning of the teaser as well. I will be playing the vast majority of the vocal of Billy. However, this is a sequel set 45, 50 years later. I'm not a 70-year-old man. I don't look like a 70-year-old man. So we have cast an actor to play the physical part of Billy as well. We haven't revealed that yet because we don't know if we want to reveal it or keep it in the shadows, so to speak. We're not adverse to it because it's not gonna change anything. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But he's a cool dude, great actor. His audition was great. We love his look, especially. And it makes sense, too, that he would look this way being so many years later. And we're excited about it. But we also will probably capture his vocal performances on set as well. And therefore, in post-production, I will mix and mash a little bit. It'll be predominantly me, but it would be nice to have him in there as well. Because as you know, in the original from 1974, it wasn't just, it was a number of people on the phone. There was the main guy that was doing it like 90% of the time, but there were a couple other people that kind of had a few little things in there as well to really give this schizophrenia, split personality kind of feel to it. So we're going to try and do it sort of the same way. But yes, Billy has been cast and his name is on the poster. So when you do get the official poster, his name is there. So like we're not trying to hide him. He's not the same guy that played him in the, original, that would cost too much money. But certainly, we are happy. We're not hiding him because we're trying to keep him secret. We're just not sure if we want to reveal him yet. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yes, he has been cast. And it's not me. Intel Wild, my man, sends in a $10 super chat, says, please read in the same nagging voice you were reading the comments. All right.
But Dave, you weren't pissed about the remaking of Planes, Trades, and Automobiles. Explain yourself, Dave, huh?
Well, the reason why I wasn't pissed about the remaking of Planes, Trades, and Automobiles is because, number one, there was more information. It's completely unnecessary. You don't need to remake Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I believe I said this, and if I didn't, I should have. I said this, that it is completely unnecessary. And what I don't understand is why you just don't make a road trip movie with Will Smith and Kevin Hart and just make it your own. We can draw the parallels. Oh, this is kind of like Planes, Trains, but you're not calling it Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Will Smith isn't Neil Page, and Kevin Hart isn't Del Griffith, which I don't think they'd be anyway. I don't think Kevin Hart looks like a Del Griffith, and he isn't a shower curtain ring set. I mean, they'll definitely probably change it up in that sense, but don't call it Planes, Trades, and Automobiles. Just call it something else. Just make it a funny road trip movie about a stiff guy and a, kind of a funny, more relaxed guy. Yeah, I mean, just do that. And we can draw the parallels ourselves. But it didn't piss me off because I could totally see Kevin Hart and Will Smith. I can see the potential of a road trip movie like that, but it's the Planes, Trains part that I think is unnecessary. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel about it. It didn't piss me off because I think the talent involved could be a pretty funny movie, but I do think it's unnecessary to call it Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Just make a road trip movie that's funny and, about a stiff kind of, what I mean? Like a more conservative, stiff guy, and just let us, and if there are parallels in there, or maybe you get Steve Martin to make a fucking cameo as sort of a tribute, right? Like maybe Will Smith is running through the airport to catch his plane. And I think I mentioned this, and he bumps into somebody, and it happens to be Steve Martin. And he's like, oh, sorry. And maybe it's the same universe. Maybe it really is Neil Page, right? So maybe it's not a remake per se, but it's in the same universe. And Will Smith kind of says, oh, so sorry about that, man. I'm blah, 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 blah. And Steve Martin is like, that's okay. Listen, I know what it's like to be late for planes. Something, a little wink and a nod. You know what I mean? And maybe you do something that's a wink and a nod to John Candy, whatever. But it's not a Planes, Trains remake. It can stand on its own. And it was just more the talent involved. I was just like, Will Smith, Kevin Hart, I can see that, and I think if you make it your own, it might actually be a pretty funny movie. But yeah, the Planes, Trains brand, I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's again, a movie that doesn't require a remake. That's how I feel about that anyway. Gypsy Warrior. Oh, no, wait. Gary Wrangle sends in a $5 super chat and says, Dave, Vincent DeSanti bringing back Cologne from Jason Lives. He really nailed it. I pre-ordered the Blu-ray after the premiere. Yep. Yeah, it was great, man. It was great to see them there. There's quite a few people that didn't even know that was who he was. And same with Tommy. They didn't even know that. But these are people that obviously have not been up on the whole thing. Dalton B sends in a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Dalton. Says, I talked to Corey Bennett. He says, bet you still couldn't put him on the lockers today, Dave. Joking. I watched an older vid. It had me cracking up. Oh my goodness. Yes. Corey Bennett. For those of you that don't know, maybe Corey's watching. Corey was, maybe he's not now, but Corey, if you're watching, you're a fucking dick. You were a prick. And he gave me a cheap shot. I remember I was being bullied, and this is, I think, 9th grade or whatever it was. And I wasn't looking. They were surrounding me and I wasn't looking. And I got bullied a fair bit when I was younger because of what my dad did, obviously, and, that kind of thing. And I wasn't looking. I was looking the other direction, and he punched me in the face. And my nose began to bleed and all that kind of stuff. Really cheap shot. Like if you're watching, it was cheap. Like who sucker punches somebody, right? Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, it was, I think a year later, I had got myself into shape and I was in really good shape, and he became intimidated of me after that. And I remember he had stole somebody's quarters or something, and I was trying to get him to give the quarters back and whatever. And I picked him up on my shoulder. He might not remember. He would probably deny this, but it is true. I have witnesses. I picked him up on my shoulder and I put him on top of the lockers. Our lockers in high school were had this kind of top to them. Anyway, I put him up on top of there. Yeah, it's fucking funny. Didn't punch him. Didn't do anything. I could have beat the shit out of him at that point. I probably could have beat the shit out of him anyway when he sucker punched me. Fucking prick. He was a fucking dick. He probably still is usually dicks in high school, they don't change. Now maybe you have. If Corey Bennett is watching, maybe you have, Corey. Maybe you're an awesome dude. My guess is you're still a dick. But anyway, yeah, it's funny. It's funny you remember that. Cobra Dojo, £5 super chat says, what do you think about Mike Tyson fighting Roy Jones Jr. and then wanting to fight world champ Anthony Joshua? Well, I, of course, like all of us, I grew up with Mike Tyson. He was the champ when I was a kid. And, obviously there's the bad side to Mike Tyson, but he has this mystique around him. And I'm looking forward to watching it. The unfortunate part is that I won't be able to watch it because it's happening on Saturday, November the 28th. And if we go to shoot our movie, we will be shooting the movie because that'll be our last night of production, and we will be shooting the film. So unfortunately, the last thing on my mind will be Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I was like, I'm going to miss it. So I'm going to have to tune in after the fact to see who won. If I have a bit of downtime, maybe on our lunch break or something. Now, it'll be lunch, but it'll probably be like 2 o'clock in the morning because it's an overnight thing. I'll probably go on my phone and see who won. But I'm pulling for Tyson. I want Tyson to win because of the mystique and, all that kind of jazz. And I think he should win, but you never know. Who knows? He definitely seems like a more mentally healthier person than he was when he fought like Kevin McBride. He should have kicked the shit out of Kevin McBride, 100%. You know what I mean? And he should have even given Lennox Lewis a better fight. Now, Lennox Lewis is one of the greatest boxers of all time, period. And I'm not saying that he necessarily would have beaten Lennox, but I think it's entirely possible he could have. And it should have been like Tyson and Lewis should have been like Tyson and Ruddock. That's what it should have been like. You know what I mean? If Tyson was in a better place, because he was not in a good place. This is 2002. I remember the fight. 2002. He was, 39 or whatever he was. No, not 36, whatever. But so was Lewis. He was up there too. But Lewis was he was in a better place. Mentally, he was just a better individual. Better, like in terms of his mental state in boxing. Tyson was not. I think Lewis knocked out Tyson like in the 6th round or something like that. It should have been a Ruddock kind of thing. And same with Holyfield. The first Holyfield Tyson fight, the one where the ref stepped in the 11th round and sort of called off. Okay, fair. Even Tyson after that fight was like, you know what? Fair. That was a good fight. Like that's what, that was a good fight. It was a good fight. So I don't know. A more mentally healthier Mike Tyson. Obviously it's exhibition, but I don't know. Anthony Joshua, I don't know, man. These heavyweights now are huge. If this was 1988 Tyson, I'd be like, well, he's a lot smaller than fucking, but maybe. I don't know. Who knows, man? Who knows? He's a freak of nature. He's a freak of nature. Gypsy Warrior sends in a $1.99 super chat. Says, do you believe the rumors of Batman set troubles? I don't really know what the rumors of the Batman set troubles are. I haven't really looked into it, so I'd have to look into it to kind of gauge whether or not it makes sense that they're having that many problems. I don't really know. I don't know what it is, or if it just kind of sounds like it's hearsay. I'm not really sure what they are. Intel Wild says maybe the remake should be called Smartphones, Texting, and Millennials. Ha 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 ha. Maybe that. Although Will Smith and Kevin Hart are not. Well, Will Smith is definitely not a millennial. Is Kevin Hart a millennial? I think Kevin Hart's my age, or maybe even a smidgy older. I don't think he's a millennial either. So that wouldn't. But I get the point of what you're trying to make, though. 100%. I get it. Johnny T says, hey, Dave, Vince and the Womp Stomp crew definitely set the fan film production bar high. Are you confident that It's Me, Billy will meet or exceed this bar? Well, it depends on what you mean by meet or exceed. Production value, it will meet it. Because we're shooting on cinematic cameras. We're shooting on the Arri Mini, which is, they shot, 1917 on that camera. They shot the Joker on that camera. So in terms of production value, in terms of the look, in terms of production value, yes, 100%. But we also have to remember that It's Me, Billy, although it's considered a slasher movie, it's not a Friday the 13th movie. So it's not like It's Me, Billy is going to have like the violence and gore that Never Hike in the Snow had. That's just not the kind of movie. It's not the kind of movie the original Black Christmas was. So if you're hoping that It's Me, Billy is going to have like, it's not going to have, you will be very disappointed. We are honoring the original Black Christmas and paying homage to more of that theater of the mind, psychological aspect. We have some blood in there. Yes, I mean, people die. It's a horror movie, but it's not that kind of horror movie. So in meeting those expectations, carnage and violence, no, you'll probably be disappointed. But if you really like the original Black Christmas and you want a sequel that follows that same formula and vibe, then I think you'll be very pleased. But in terms of production value, in the visual aesthetic and look, it'll be matched. Yeah. It'll be matched because like I said, we're going through this process. We're making a legit film with professionals who work in the industry. So, and I'm so excited to work with our first AC as well. Her name's Jacqueline DeBacco. I think I'm saying her last name right. Jacqueline, if you're watching, I think that's how you say her last name. She's our first assistant camera, and she is a big Black Christmas fan. And on our production meeting last Saturday, we jumped on Zoom, and she even had a Michael Myers shirt on. And she was like, I wore this for you. And I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. You're amazing. It's so great when you can work with people who are passionate about the property, want to do a good job, want to have fun, want to work hard, and love what, you're doing, you know what I mean? And she was one of those people. So that's why we hired her. And her job is very important as a first AC. So it's great. We're trying to surround ourselves with, the right people. So, but yes, in terms of production value, yes, it'll be matched. In terms of expectations and what you expect from the movies, they're two different kinds of horror movies. So you have to keep that in mind. Evil Alex says, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. And how is Dylan's New Nightmare going? Well, I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm not a producer on the project. You'd have to ask Cecil about that. However, I will say this. It is still happening. Dylan's New Nightmare is still happening. Hasn't been canceled, but it has been delayed because of COVID-19. We are shooting It's Me, Billy, but it's because we're shooting here in Canada. And the situation in Canada, although we have entered the second wave, so they're telling us, the situation up here, because we don't have nearly the population, is not as grave or as bad as it is south of the border. So, and in Arizona especially, which is where Cecil lives, which is where Dylan's New Nightmare is going to be shot, that is especially a hotbed for COVID-19. So we were originally supposed to shoot it in May. We couldn't, obviously. We were going to try in August. We obviously couldn't. We were thinking about, maybe this fall, obviously couldn't. I don't want to speak for Cecil, but I believe we're looking at maybe next spring. But it all depends on what happens, and Cecil doesn't want, and I get it. He doesn't want to go to camera when the virus is still like really running rampant. You know what I mean? So I agree 100%. I have seen photos of the prosthetics that will be applied to me. And oh my God, you guys are going to lose it. I will just say that. I'm very excited about it. So it is still happening. And no COVID-19, the movie might even be out by now. I don't know. But unfortunately, it looked like I was going to be doing Dylan's New Nightmare first, then It's Me, Billy. But because of COVID, we're actually doing It's Me, Billy first, and then Dylan's New Nightmare. So it is still happening. I mean, I haven't heard anything to the contrary. It's just because of COVID, it's been delayed. So, but never feel, always, reach out to Cecil on the horror show. I'm sure he'd love to, answer any questions you guys would have on that situation. Okay, we'll go for a couple more minutes here. A couple more minutes. We will go. Let's see here. Cobra Dojo sends in a... Did I miss another one from Gypsy Warrior? I did? I didn't think I did. Let me see here. Maybe I did. Gypsy Warrior Popcorn Planet got that one. Gypsy Warrior. Do you believe the rumors of the Batman set trouble? Got that one. Gypsy Warrior maybe from earlier? Did I thought I got it, Frank. Gypsy Warrior. Okay, the only ones I'm seeing here are Popcorn Planet's Andy Signor confirms TM and AG. I got that. I got the Do you believe the rumors of the Batman set trouble? And that's all I'm seeing at the moment. Oh, no, you got it, Dave. Okay. Perfect. Just want to make sure. Don't want to leave anybody hanging. Cobra Dojo. Thank you, buddy. Says, I know you're a huge Spielberg fan. I am. And you like Richard Dreyfuss. I do. What do you think of Always? I've never heard you mention it. Always is a movie I've not seen in a long time. Probably since the early 90s. I don't remember not liking it, but it's one I'd have to watch. It's one that I think it came out in 80. Ooh, hang on. It's either 87 or 89. 89 was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Did he have two that came out that year? Hey, Google, what year did the movie Always come out?
Always was released on December 22nd, 1989 in the United States of America.
Yeah, 89. Yeah, that made sense. Yeah, it's one that people don't talk about. It's not just me. It's one that a lot of people don't talk about it. It's one that really doesn't have a lot of, a lot of traction when it comes to talking about Spielberg films. But I haven't seen it in probably 30 years, so I'd have to watch it again. But I do like them both. I think they're a very good pairing. Jeff Harris sends it a $9.99 super chat. Says, I heard the Batman set rumors were debunked. The source was, we got this covered. Like I've said 1,000 times, if there's one thing to remember about We Got This Covered, is that they never have anything covered. Apparently, Matt Reeves was upset with Pattinson not working out for their role, and Pattinson faked having COVID. Oh, whatever. Anyways, We Got This Covered. Go fucking cover yourself with urine. Dusty Rose sends in a $4.99 super chat and says, Jennifer Love Hewitt is on 911. Yes, that is true. And do you have a video on What's So Bad About I Still Know? I do not have a video on What's So Bad About I Still Know. I can just tell you that it just wasn't, I found it more corny. And again, I haven't seen the movie in a little bit, so I'd have to brush up on it. But off the top of my head, I found it more corny and just more of the same, but in a different location. And I just didn't like it. I had trouble believing it. over, and I mean, you're already asked to suspend your disbelief a little bit in the first movie, and the second movie I just didn't enjoy. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first one. But admittedly, I'll have to watch it again. But watching it again, I know I'm not going to watch it and be like, oh my God, this is so good. I remember seeing it in the theater. I've seen it a couple times since, and I'm just like, yeah, it's I mean, it's not Halloween 5, but it's not, I just don't like it as much as I did the first one. I don't think it's as strong. I don't think the story is as strong. I don't think the characters are as strong. And I just didn't enjoy it as much. Johnny Russell says, first movie that comes to your head. Give me a horror movie suggestion to watch after your show. First movie that comes to my head. Well, we were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, so I Know What You Did Last Summer. There you go. Nerd Report. Lewis from the Nerd Report. Love Lewis, man. Lewis, next time I'm in LA, Lewis, we gotta, hey, if you're ever in Toronto, Lewis, if you're ever in Toronto, we gotta go out for dinner or something. Nerd Report. Just want to say hello, my friend. Yes, Lewis. Hello, buddy. Frank Riker says, sends in a $5 super chat and says, for the sexy MFers in the chat, thank you so much, Frank. I really appreciate it. Intel Wild says, for all the sexy MFers in the chat, Frank, do your thing. Do your thing. What you gonna do? Love it. Real reveal for this. You're all sending in chat stuff for the sexy MFers in the chat. You guys are amazing. Folks, that is going to do it for me here on episode 100 and, 13, 14? What are we at? 113. Episode 113 of McRae Live. I want to thank my moderators, of course, the great Frank Riker, the great Darren Sands, and the great Tabitha Short for doing what you guys do. I really appreciate it very, very much. I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. Thank you to all the super chats, of course. Really appreciate it. To the non-super chat questions, appreciate that as well. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Stay safe out there. And yeah, be kind to each other, folks. Do not be dicks. Be kind. Be kind. Be kind. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.